So here we have the Sefer Tip of Kavonos. It's really on the Shar Kavonos, and he brings us the Shar Kavonos, and this is the Tip of Rishash is also in here, so we could get an idea what's going on in the Rishash. Let me see if I can get this right. Not messing everything up. Okay, the drush begins like this. He says at the top, I'm in the wrong place, so let's go to the right place. Sefirah Omer, Drush Zayin, is bar shebepesach hu zaman yanika. V'hu drush rishon le'inyan Sefirah Omer. Let's go over here and we'll pick up just this little bit here on the light print. Is av shebeseda drushim shel klalos drush pesach. That when we're talking about Pesach in general, drush is hu drush number Zayin. Ulam hu drush rishon shebedrush Sefirah Omer, and that turns out to be the first drush in Sefirah Omer. Now, going down to the bottom of the Shefa Kavonos, the Tiv writes like this. He says, "V'hu drush rishon the yin Sefirah Omer." Costa the Marchol Zilcha, b'chsiv yad hu b'defusim chadashim. So he wrote this on the side, I guess. He didn't actually, Marchu, who wrote all these things, these notes down, he didn't actually hear this from the Rab himself, but they actually heard this from a different Talmud who said it in the name of the Rab. But it really doesn't work. It doesn't fit in. The Pesach, but the Sefirah Omer, so it doesn't really fit in with all of this. So therefore our rabbis, they organized the Siduria of Kavonos lo chalku al pi drush zed, didn't go according to this drush. He said, but Pesach, who's the man yanika, Pesach is the time of nursing. Shall zer anpin ve'ein bo elam mochin dekatnas. Now, actually I skipped ahead a little bit. So let's go back and see this where it is, number bet. Kavarnis bar b'Pesach, who's the man the yanika shazer anpin, so it's that time. So he says lazer anpin yesh lo shloch shebechinos zemanim chalukim. He says shehem you called Iver yanika and mochim. Bismane Iver nimsach azal besoch ima. V'az he bechinos nai bilvad, and it's only can you see the outside part of Zer Anpin, that is his very lowest element, Bilvad. Now we're going to skip across to the other side, and we'll go to the word Allah over here. So without going through all the different characteristics of Yanika and Mochin the Godless and the different concepts, we'll skip right over here. Elathefi Shah, according to only momentarily. Yom Rishon, the Pesach, the Mistalchi Bebenach, Mochin, the Mochin leaves. So at the beginning of Pesach, there are Mochin the Godless, but then after that they leave. So Zer Anpin goes back to the aspect of Yanika. B'mesher kol Yemecha Pesach, B'mech Sefira, at Yom Chag HaShavuos, She'az Mekabel is a Mochin Mechadash, V'choizu the Gadlu, so he gets the Mochin to come back again to him, and he grows into his full size, his full height. So he says down here on number bet, Yibepesach hu zeman the Yanika shazer anpen be'ein bo ela Mochin the Katas. Let's see what he says on the other side of the page. He says down here in the Shefa, he says, let me see if we can get this focused a little better. He says it's written in the Shem and Sasam, Mavur Khan V'La'el Drush Hey the Pesach. So it says over there that Drush Shebemecha Pesach who's Zaman the Yanika the Zer Anpin. Eilis Smoch Ala Drushim Elu Sha'aleichem Omecha Rav Atzbacha B'Shchum B'Zulasa, because in regards to them, the Rav is saying that it's not from him, it's not from somebody else. Shechein La'elin Drush Beis and Gimel the Pesach Mavur Lahedya Lochein. It's not like this. Ella the Belel Chag Pesach Nimshachem HaMochin the Godless. Then you have Mochin the Godless, Ayin Sham Od Ma Sharotza the Yasha Bedochek. I'm not really quite sure exactly what that told me, but we're moving on. So he says, let me see where I'm at now. Okay, so we're now on number Gimel. Vein bo ela mochin dekatnas. He only has mochin dekatnas. At the katnas shehem arba elokim echad the yudim b'chachma ve'echad the heyin bebina ve'echad the chalofim b'das. So he says echad b'locha b'tzir yud vav dala b'chosan the das ve'echad the chalofim b'gevurat the das sheb'tzir yud vav dal. There's two different ways to spell an aleph, and he's giving us those two different ways. So as in this boil la'el, it's explained up above. Shavadai af be'esh zer anpin hu b'bechinas katnas. Gam oz yesh lo mochim ma'acha shabali mochim ein kiyus de'chiyus. Dacha b'mochim ein bechinas anashama v'chachiyus shall call nivra. Rak shehem mochim muatim, but they're limited. The nikroyim mochim de katnas. V'chashem shall mochim de katnas. Heim shemus elokim b'milui elish yesh hefresh bein shemen shel arba'cha b'mochim chachma bina chasad the das and gevoras the das v'ofen hamilui shel ha'arach v'chashel ha'aras hey the elokim, in the same way that the light of Hashem, that's supposed, so to speak, shines through this milui of the hey on the name Elokim, that letter right there. The b'muach ha'chachma ha'oz hey he b'milu yud yud. B'muach habina, when you look at the hey, it looks different. B'milu hey, it's like hey. B'muach hadas is b'milu aleph, hey aleph, but the muach here, the aleph could look different. Muach hadas nechlok lechasadim begevuras, as we know. V'yesh chiluk bein chasadim the gevuras, and there's a difference between the chasadim and the gevuras. Shebemucha chasadim das, we're talking about hey aleph. Ha'os aleph shall milui os hey aleph he b'suras yud vav yud. There's a yud and then a line and then a yud. That's it. We got here line yud at the bottom, upside down. Yud l'mala v'vav noten be'emsech of yud chufucha l'mata. V'muach ha'gavuras the das ha'os aleph he b'suras yud vav dalad yud l'mala vav noten be'emsech of v'dalad l'fucha l'mata. V'dat ki b'mochen the godless, when we talk about mochen the zah, maktim in the chasad that says min the das lihis pasha beguf of the zah. V'achar kach yotz in the gevuros. Noide, we know this. Shebemuach hadas, yesh nam chamisha chasad v'chamisha gevuros. V'chasad v'chevuros yordan the mispashta beguf of the zer anpin, they'll go down, they'll spread into the bottom of zer anpin, into the body of zer anpin. Yosef v'chebeguf of the zer anpin. Bevok shalom in his vav kitzvos. So ubeseder his pashtusim yesh chiluk bein the mochen the godless the mochen the godless. Ki b'mochen the godless makdim in the chasana that says v'li his pasha begufa the zah v'achar kach yotzes ha'gavuras li his pasha begufa, and then the gavuras come out and they spread in his body. Avach b'mochen the godless. But when you're talking about mochen the godless, which is the time he's saying of Sefirah. Hagavuros maskilin l'chis pasha begufa dezah, they come first to be mispashet into the body of zer anpin, mispashet begufa dezah v'achar kach yotzim achasadim. B'mochen the kadnas hasei the hula hefach shedechila yotzes hagavuros mispashet besoch begufa dezah. The first thing is that the gavuros come out. V'achar kach yotzim achasadim mispashet begufa. For Tom, who knows a reason for this, the fish are mochen the katas heim dinim kashim, they're dinim kashim. So Tom shebemochen the katnas makdim and agavuras that says came in the mochen the katnas heim bebechinas dinim kashim. He said v'lechein oz yeshes gavros agavuros v'heim yotzes mispashtos techila. V'zechu gam sod yotzer a yetzer har v'cha yetzer tov. Let's have a yetzer tov v'cha yetzer har. Let's go down below before I get into that too much. Hagavuros maschila l'chis pasha v'gufa d'zah. We have this right here in the Shefel Kavanos. He said be'inyan the b'vur b'drosh zeh. So what we're talking about here? The shvein ha'chasad b'bein hagavuros mispashdim b'gufa d'zer anpen. Ela shechasadim mispashdi b'mecha Sefirah v'chagavuras b'chag hashvuos, and the gavuras are the chag hashvuos. Let's hear that again. The chasadim are go through all the mispashdi in the zer anpen through all the days of the Sefirah and the Gevuros only on the Chag HaShavuos. That's according to a certain drush. But we have to really wonder, it's questionable. That only in Zer Anpin he only gets chasadim. That's what really is the Zer Anpin. So he really stands by this in the Efer Shleima over there. So the essence of what he said is this. Shabo Yordin and Mispashte B'Chasada Dechila B'Zer Anpin, V'Alkein Sheyotze Macharechem HaGevuros. So therefore, when the Gevuros come out at this time, there's no place for them to go. V'Alkein Anfechem Yordim El Yisod. So therefore, they have branches that extend down into the Yisod of Zer Anpin. Look, now later it sounds like he's saying it's really a radiance of them makes it down to there. Only that's left over now is just a glow that's left over from the fact that the Gevuros were there, so they're gone. Because there's nothing there in Zer Anpin to stop them. So the branches themselves go down into this place. In other words, the Gevuros themselves occupy these places. In the entire Vok, which is the Chag at Nai. Because so as long as the Pesadim are not going down and they're spreading into Zer Anpin, into the Vok of Zer Anpin. So he says, you and Sham called the Vara Barichos. So there are different views of what we may be talking about here, but let's go on to the next part and see where I stop. So he says, Nisboyer Sod Yetzer Tov, Yetzer Hara, Yetzer Tov. That's what we're going to look at now. So v'yetzer hara ma inyana. What's the yetzer tov yetzer hara? V'zecha v'gam came so the yetzer tov v'yetzer hara. He says we'll pick it up right here. Yetzer tov v'yetzer ra. Ki chachasadim heim yetzer tov sheba adam v'chakavuros heim v'yetzer hara. U'b'mecha katla shel adam maskil ha'yetzer hara lehis pashit ba'adam. Kodesh yavach ha'yetzer tov v'zocher chagdom azos. So now you have to understand what the rabbis are saying. It only happens then. So the Gevuros is really the secret of the Gevuros. Episode of Gevuros, Sheba Adam. But Yetzer Torah is really talking about the Sod HaChasadim. V'zechein b'mei HaKatnas shal Adam she'oz yesh lo mochin the Katnas makdimin the Gevuros lehis Pashit kodem b'Chasadim. So the Gevuros start before the Chasadim. And so therefore Mispashit bocha Yetzer Hara kodem the Yetzer Tov. So therefore you see that Yetzer Hara comes out before the Yetzer Tov. Now, I think there's a little bit here, let's see, we read that one, so there's something a little bit right here on the Tiva Kavana and the Shefa Kavanos. V'mecha katna shal adam maskel leyetzer hara lehis pashe ba'adam kodesh yavach ha'yetzer tov. B'tam mezecha tevach ha'katanim lishbor v'lakalkel. So that's why children are so destructive. The vision is pashto etzlam rak ha'gevuros. Rak achar kach ma'askila the chasada the chispashe b'hem. Look over the Eitz Chaim, he says over there, the Sefer Sod Yesharim, etc. So he says Sha'arek B'Bira Inyan. Now let's see, where is number Hay? Number Hay starts right here. So he says number Hay. He said V'hidei Yemei Omer Heim Zaman Dinim Kenoida. So he says, let me just get this lined up there. There's that Kenoida. V'lechein. So he says, let's see, so therefore you see the hispashtus of the Gevuros in the katnas is their anpin. The makdim and Gevuros, the kanis, the chila. So the Gevuros have to begin to come in first. Visha b'mochin. The Fisha b'mochin the kathim bispashta the gevurus techilach, as we have said already. V'achar kach b'yom chag hashvuos shehu yom matan Torah yotzim gan lechasadim shel lekatnish shehem b'dayim b'dash shel zer anpin u'mispashtim b'gufu shel zer anpin, and that then comes into zer anpin. Ach shenishlo kol the gevurus the katnis the konis b'mei ha'omer azai b'yom chag hashvuos Yom Matan Torah, Yotzim B'Chasadim Dekatnis, Sheneshar Ad Heina, that were still there, B'Shorish Shabbadah B'Shorsham, B'Davaz is still back in Das. V'Him Mispashtim Ata, but when you come to the Chag HaShavuos, then the Mispashtim Pesach Gufa Dezah, then they spread into the Gufa Dezah. Number Yud, let's do number Yud. And we have, that's going to be it. V'oz gam came niknasa b'zer anpen ha'arbacha b'mochen kulin the godless kanoida, then all of the four mochen come into zer anpen b'chag hashvuos milvadis pashtan chusadim shel katana shena'asa oz. Besides that, niknasa b'zer anpen gan kol arba mochen, all the four mochen which are chochba b'inda chusadim the das of gevurus the das all of godless all come into zer anpen. Let's look, there was a little note over here in the Shefa, and let's just pick it up and see what it is, dealing with different problems here. He said, Hine, Yemei ha'omer hein zaman dinim kanoida, let's go down to the light print, and it said, Pashtus Lashon Rav Khan is this, Shekevin Yemei ha'omer hein Yemei din, and we know that. Al kain mispashtim bo ha-dinim v'ha-gavur shel ha-katnas, so therefore that's when you see the dinim, the gavuras of katnas come in. B'tzarech bir, he says, ma ha-shaychel zechad hazeh, what are these two ideas doing going together? Achein b'pri eitz chaim, so in other words, cause of b'loshen acher, he writes this a little bit differently. Did I read this already? Achein atach b'so the omer heim dinim, so now it is time of dinim. The Vihishu Zaman shel ha-gevuros amispashtim b'zer anpen, so it's the gevuros that spread into zer anpen, akon l'shono. Umash b'sham, so explains over there. Shechabibir, who the explanation is this. Shemei ha-sefira heim yemei katnos, it's the time of katnos. The Vihishu oz mispashtim ha-mochen the katnos, because that's when you see the hispashtos of the mochen the katnos. Of Makaven Shachaklal who should be Mecha Makdim and the Konis of Gavuras Tehila. Memele Bemecha Sefira Nimshachim Raka Gavuras Balkain Chayamim Halalo Hem Yemei Din Belushan Zechav Yosef Movin V'yesh Lamar Od, there's Molano Od, there's more than that, and we'll stop this here, right here.